I'm Susan Lennart. I am an artist and a jeweler, and I travel all over the world with my art form. I love, one of my things that I do is I have collected just objects and pieces, just common objects and pieces all over the world, and I like to use that in my art form. For instance, I'm here at this beach and I'm seeing so many people come by and pick up shells that they love. I can see the love in their eyes, and they're picking up their objects and their shells, and they're bringing home buckets and bags. And for me, I am a builder of talisman. I've always loved the idea of talisman. What a talisman is when you look at your objects over and over again, every time you pull out your shells, it reminds you of that beautiful place that you visited or your vacation that you were at. So I like to go into different areas no matter where I'm at, and I build using objects from the area. So this is really fun. So what I did is I ended up putting together a Nomadic toolkit, which you can take around the world with you. The only thing you have to do is find a small can of butane at any Walmart or at any hardware store. Universally, I found that butane is a common gas that is used in almost every single culture that I have found. So this is pretty cool this way. So I actually want to show you here, I'm in the bright sun, and I'm not going to be able to solder because you need a little bit of shade when you're soldering. But I want to show you what my toolkit looks like. This is everything I need. This is about 15, 20 pounds. So I brought this down to the beach with me. And just a lot of water. I need water here. We brought some food. We're here relaxing today. But I'm going to lay out the whole kit for you guys so you can see. And I probably can do a little hammering and things here. But my soldering, I'm going to then bring my umbrella in and set up here with my umbrella to do most of the heavy work. Okay, so definitely we need our butane can. And this is from the hardware store. There's so many different kinds. There's no can that's better. You just have to have this little notch on the top. And I save the top of this because this literally pushes in. You always want to make sure you have the top. Not use this as a found object here on the beach. And I brought flux with me today, so that's included in the kit. I have a container to put my pickle in. This is interesting because, and if you watch one of my videos just on soldering, you're going to see how easy it is just to really solder. I'm always about soldering simplified, and here I am with a toolkit that's simplified. I'm going to use some ocean water, which has a lot of salt in it, put a little bit of vinegar in, and I'll have a homemade pickle that I'll be able to work with my work as I get moving. So let me put these here. The next thing I brought with me that is so easy, love this, I keep it in the container. I have got a soldering board. This is actually a swivel. So I save my containers. This is actually a swivel that swivels because I like to be able to move my board around. This is a solderite board that I can solder on nice and clean, and I always use a screen. So if you watch my bezels simplified, soldering simplified, you're going to see how I use my screen to be able to really make things happen. I actually brought a cookie tray in my other container, but I'm not going to pull that out now. I bring a cookie tray with me everywhere. These are my magnifiers, so no matter where I am, even if I have some really good light, I'm not going to take my sunglasses off here, but these are my magnifiers, and these are optivisors, craft optics. These are expensive. You can find magnetizers inexpensively, but these are mine here. They have my reading glasses in here, and I love them. Can't do without them. So I definitely brought these out here. So this is part of it that's fitting in the bag too. It's pretty crazy how much I can fit in here. My objects and pieces that I plan to use are here. Really the silversmith tools hardly take up any room. I have got, you could use any kind of a hand drill. This is Fiskars, but you can use any kind of a hand drill and a piece of wood to drill into. I have a 1/16 bit in here or a 52 from the jeweler store, and that helps me tremendously. My hammer, yes, my hammer. This is absolutely, when I am working, let me pull out my anvil. pull out my anvil, and I've got it wrapped in some towels, nice and practical, because I love having a nice, you know, I need a nice surface, but I need a really good resist when I'm hammering. So when I'm hammering, I need a flat surface. This helps my surface to be flat and also helps to not give me spring back. So when I'm hammering here, I want to make sure that I have a really strong resist, which I have the earth, and I have this smaller, it's like a 5x5 block. And I've got a really nice hammer here. And what I just need to do is make sure I have my good posture, especially when I'm in a position like this. So I want to have a really nice hammer. I could have brought a little light one, but this is going to be much, much better. And you really just want your hammer to do all the work, you know, and not really be working too hard with your muscles. When you do use your muscles in silversmithing, you want to make sure you use the right muscles. You want to use your biceps, use those, you get nice and strong. You don't ever want to really flip your wrist around when you're hammering. You know, so it really is kind of these up and down motions. And I would actually pull the anvil in closer, which I'm not going to do right now because I'm just showing you the tools in here. So this is extra. That's for my hammering area. This is a Euro tool top for this. And this is actually the top of my torch. And the way I'm going to put this in is right here. And this turns and I strike. In the wind right now, as I was mentioning. So when I do start my soldering, I'm going to be in a little shadier spot so I can see my flame when I'm soldering. That helps me out a lot to see my flame. With this flame though, I can make it really wide or I can make it very tiny. So that's going to be your choice too when you're doing your work. You'll see. Okay, I have actually a bag full of, I'm going to use my pickle. It's going to be a cold pickle out here on the beach. So I may just end up doing some quenching in there. I don't have another container for quenching, or maybe when I use my, use this piece here. I'll show you my solder. I've got so many things packed in here. I don't have my leather cases anymore. I have beautiful leather cases. I did bring a little bit of pickle out with me, salt, to add into the into my salt water. People many times ask me they can't bring pickle out. If I have all of my tools together in a container on the plane, I can definitely use and pack anything I want in here. Usually when when I'm flying out places, people will look at when they're checking my luggage, they'll look at what is this all about. So with that done, is this working for you? And this case here, I can carry a lot of my tools. I actually could have carried all of this in here as well. Actually, I'll show you how this fits. I have some beautiful leather pieces made like this, but I just don't have them right now with me. This is a camper set, but see, everything else I need, I can fit right into this container. This is a fisherman's case. This is from like camping stores also. You could order it online. So these are set up in different areas like this. I have a container here. This is what I'm going to pour my flux into. So my flux goes right into here. I like to, sometimes I did bring liquid flux with me. A lot of times when I'm traveling, I like bringing more of a paste flux because I can mix it with water and it works really, really well. And these are my easy solder, medium solder, in my containers already. They're nice and clean. I just cut some up last night so I wouldn't have to cut them up out here. And hard solder. This is the way that I set up my whole system here. We'll put this out here, separate it out. Okay, so these are set up, and I have extra sheet solder if I need my sheet solder. Let's see, these are my supplies. I brought some supplies out with me. I brought out a file. I brought out my small hammer for riveting just in case. Sandpaper. Sandpaper is pretty easy to transport with me. So I can actually get in here and really get in here and file and sand with these materials right here. I'm going to put it here so it doesn't blow away. And I actually brought out some different stones to put along with my shells and more materials. Ooh, I just had a little dragonfly land on my work. And that's basically it here. Materials are in here. So this, I bring a little bit of wire along so I can back up my bezels if I have to raise stones, anything like that. I consider that part of my toolkit. Okay, this is very minimal. Isn't this interesting? I can do all of my work. And here are the pieces that sit on my right-hand side. These will sit over here. And I've got my anvil and hammer here, my drill. So what sits right on my right-hand side of my Nomadic toolkit is my marker. Love, love, love. I can't do without these tweezers. These tweezers really are the staple of, you know, just so much work that I do. Paintbrush. Oh my gosh, paintbrush. I do so much with my paintbrush. The two tools that are so essential to me. Let me find my other soldering pick that I love. I've got my tweezers, these are locking pliers or locking tweezers that help me hold things and get everything into place. This is for my pickle. You have to use copper. You can't use metal. You can use wood with your pickle, but that's to pull pieces in and out of my pickle. Another paintbrush, just in case you don't want to come out with one paintbrush. And the last piece that is essential that goes to the right is my soldering pick. And this is one that I'd have to recommend that I absolutely love. This is from Pepe Tools. It's all titanium and it works really well. And I work that right along with my flex. A steel brush. My steel brush can sit over here. I don't need it right away. This is my immediate right-hand side here that I need when I'm soldering. I brought my 3 pairs of pliers. This is actually, I love the, you know, these are actually just a really beautiful set. They're originally orthodontist pliers, but they are Revere pliers. And there's 4 that go in the set, but I just really needed 3. One of them is the needle nose. One of them is the needle nose chain that goes right here. That's my very favorite. I'm finding I use different tools at different times. And this tool is the, these are the practical ones that are nice and wide, and I'm just gonna have them laid out right here. Those 3 I use alongside, I just brought this pair here. These are my wire snips that can cut any kind of wire that I'd want to cut. And I just brought a thicker marker. I don't need my key. And just a couple more things that I have here. This is my lube for when I do drill. I want to make sure that it goes in nice and smooth. My jeweler saw, I didn't bring that out here at the beach because I don't have anywhere to clip my jeweler saw onto. But I do have those 52 bits that go with my drill. And this is a wire pen that I love, love, love. And this wire pen, these are my 2 ways that I can clean and scratch and clean up. So those I use hand in hand. And I did bring my E6000 glue because I talk about that. I just use this when I do pieces like tassels or if I can't draw a bead on them. So I've got my material here. I think I have showed you everything that I have in my kit. And surprisingly enough, you can become a silversmith just with this amount of tools here. So I love it. I spent 3 years just using a really simple kit, and not, for me, it's like I've been a jeweler for so long. I have done Milan Fashion Week and won an award there. I've done commercial lines of jewelry. I've done interactive museum pieces. I've done a commercial line of jewelry with the Disney group. I've done so much work, and I love the challenge of walking around in the world for 3 years and only using this kit, because I just love the freedom, you know, being an artist and being able to get at my medium whenever I need to. So I actually have the whole kit downloaded below. You can buy it on Amazon. I don't sell the kit. I really don't sell the kit, but I do have a really cool program called Intentional Metalsmithing that I use to teach this type of work that's very inspiring about really pulling together your own personal objects. I've taught for so many years, and every time, if I have a room full of 20 people or 15 people or 100 people, I can give you the same project, the same materials, and I will see 100 different pieces come out of an original project. So the less tools that you have and the simpler you can keep your life as an artist, the more ingenuity, the more you need to think and to use and to look for tools around you. And that really is what it is about being an artist. Like, look, hand make your tools. Think about using, you know, shells, or I'm gonna actually, when I set up my Nomadic toolkit right now, I'm gonna find some bricks. I brought a cookie sheet, and I'm gonna set all of this up, and I'll be able to do some soldering out here on the beach. So I'm really excited about it. I've got a couple weeks now to go, and I hope you guys like this Nomadic toolkit. I love it. It doesn't slow me down, and it doesn't keep me away from my craft. You can download the link below. Okay, you guys, this is the Nomadic toolkit in action. Here I am. I had so much fun. It was so beautiful listening to the ocean and the birds and everything else that was going on here. So I'm going to sit here, and I've got the whole day just to build whatever I want to build. I've got a full tank of gas, so I'm all set. I put together this little collection of objects. I'm always talking about objects that I collect. And this is a feather that I found on the beach. These are sticks that I found here. I put a bone on here. I put an old shell. This came from somewhere else, an old fossil, a bullet shell. And it's just really fun. These are all the talisman pieces that I talk about. This is some of my work that I do. You know, it's just really fun. I'm not going to wear it soldering, but this is the work that I do with some of the pieces, just some of the silver work that encases the objects. And here's another piece here with gems. So I like mixing objects and gems together. So I'm on the beach. I'm going to do a quick project here. I think it'll be really fun. So where I'm going to start with is I want to get some beach, some ocean water. The ocean water has salt in there, so I'm going to go ahead and grab some ocean water, and I'm going to put a little bit more salt in here myself, and then I'll have a nice pickle that I can pickle my pieces in. Hi, birds. I am on the beach. I'm working here all day. It feels so good. Usually I don't wear earrings when I wear my magnifiers, but I'm going to put them on here. I have been soldering, and I haven't had any problem with the wind. So just to let you guys know, I'm going to do a project with, I've been enjoying the ocean behind me, the birds that are out here. It's been so pleasurable in this type of weather and out at the beach. So this is why I love being outside. It's just really to connect to nature. When I'm home in my studio, I bring home the, you know, some of the finished pieces just to do that little bit of an edge, but I love traveling around the world and setting up in so many different places and using objects that are right here, you know, of the land. I'm here and I'm seeing people pick up shells all day long. So I'm actually setting shells, and I want to hammer out some type of loops today. So I'm going to do just a little bit of forging, and I'm going to actually just show you how to do one of these pieces here that I think would be really fun. I brought my Nomadic anvil, nice and clean. This is about 5 pounds. You know, it's a nice little weight here, and it's a 5x5. And I have a piece of 16 gauge. I don't need a really big piece, but actually when I'm forging at first, I like working with, you know, working with this a little bit longer. So that's kind of cool. My hammer, when you're forging, you want to just use a little bit of a curve on your hammer So this one has a beautiful little curve. This is one of my very favorite hammers. It sits really well. When I'm out, you would think you could get away with a little hammer when you're out working nomadically, but actually I find it's better for me to bring a little heavier gauge hammer that you know, can put a little bit of weight on things, because my anvil is pretty light. In my studio I have like a 80 pounds of resist with my anvil, but this one here, it's nice and light. So I'm going to start, even though I'm here at the beach, I want to make sure that my posture is still good. So I'm going to keep this on me just to show you guys. You want to keep your posture good. I have to lean over a little bit, even though I'm working nomadically at the beach, but I'll put it right here. There we go. Right here. So I'm just going to lay my wire this way and very, very gently. So I'm not just hammering flat, I'm actually hitting and pulling. The way that you forge, you can pull your wire in so many different directions. And I'm just working it very, very slowly down my anvil. I'm just doing one setup here, but you guys can see a close-up of one. I do this type of work in my studio all the time. This is kind of fun. But I'm just working all the way down the road, down the line. I can, wherever I have to pull my wire, I'll exaggerate a little bit. So if my wire, if it's curved off to the side a little, I can actually pull it in this way. I can hit it. You know, if it's curved this way, it's actually right about here where I have to get in to straighten it out. So that's some of the fun stuff that you do. I'm going to go ahead and cut this to size that I want it at. These are double flush pliers, and these will give me a tabletop snip. So you want to get double flush pliers if you're going to order pliers. And I'm going to keep working on this side. I'm not turning my wrist, I'm just using my biceps. That's the only muscles that you really want to use when you're forging, and your body stays in good shape. So even here at the beach, I've got good posture and I can work my piece as well. It's a little louder, my anvil, than it is back home, but I can hit on the side. It's a little louder with a lighter anvil. But I carried this all the way through. Adam saying bullshit. Adam carried my tool set all the way here. He's tired, but I love it out here, so I get to work all day. But he did carry this for me. I'm just gonna get this forged as much as I can. There's Adam. We're hot today. So this I actually have set. So all I have to do is anneal it, and I'll be able to get this in the best shape. You know, curve it around and get in the shape. So I'm going to bring my tools back with me here, my silversmithing tools, right here. You guys don't have to get up close. I was working on this earlier. I'm just going to anneal. So this piece needs to be annealed. So I'm going to lay it here so it doesn't blow away. I'm not going to go in and hammer it the second time. I could if I want to, but I'm going to start in the center because the center is thicker than the edges. So I'm starting in the center. I'm going to bring this up to a red glow. Someone here. Almost done. All with this Nomadic torch, which is pretty cool. Okay, almost done. Almost done. And voila. Let me get this quenched. And then I'll show you how I curve it. This is a super simple one. There we go. Get this quenched. Okay. I like to anneal it because then it's in better shape to curve. And I'm actually, since I just have these pliers, I'm going to get in, just give myself a little bit of a beautiful curve. You can shape it any way that you like to. I usually like to hand form my pieces just so they're more natural shaped. You know, I don't need it. If you do like perfect circles, you can always shape around an object, a jar, or something. Okay, so sometimes when I have it up on here, I can't get it as tight as I like. So there we go. I'm going to push it in. Different secrets everybody has, and these are some of mine. There. So now this piece is done, just like these finished pieces. So I'm going to actually pickle this and get it soldered, and this will be beautiful. That's it. Okay, these are some pieces that I brought with me that I have built using the Nomadic tool set. I was talking about it earlier, but it's like you can build anything with this, you guys. These pieces here, this is my work. This piece here, I build the fringe and the end caps. And these are a bunch of found objects that I wanted to show you, just a little close-up of sticks and little found objects that I found on the beach, and some crystals and some bone, and then I put fiber and horsehair with them. These are my personal sacred objects, and this is the type of pieces that I like to build with. Here's a feather here on the beach. So these are my pieces, and I'm going to actually just show you. I'm just going to set this bezel right now, this turquoise piece right here. So I'm going to take everything away. Here's my turquoise piece already here. Okay, so I actually have a filigree. I like filigree wire because you can see I don't really have to have, I don't have to have it come up that high. So I'm going to bring it around. I'm going to put this to the side with people. I'm going to bring this around just like this. You want to make it nice and tight. There we go. With my pliers, push all my ends in. There we go. Oh, I'll just have the background going. Oh, perfect. So this is a super good fit right here. Yay, love that. Push this end in. Oh, I can smell it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, get my tray back. Now I can put my stone aside. The birds in the background are so pretty. This is what I like building out in nature. When you get pieces that are bigger like this, they're a little harder to get fit together with the spring. But it needs to be exact. There we go. See how exact that is? Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to dip this right into the flux so it doesn't spring back. I think that's open. In fact, I know it is. Okay, so I'm getting some hard solder out. Right here. Here's my hard. And this is already fluxed up, so I am looking to put a little bit of flux on here. Get my torch going. Ooh, there's a breeze though. Let's see. Go. I use self-pickling flux all the time because the self-pickling flux literally is just that. It pickles right there for you. It just takes away the fire scale, you know, really, so I don't have to pickle it again. I'm trying to make things efficient because I work as a nomadic jeweler. So now what I want to do is make sure the bottom of this is sanded well. I'm going to do a little bit of sanding on the side. It's easier to do as you go along, so I probably will hit it right here. My join is done nicely. Get it around, make it nice and flat. And now I'm going to get in here and set my stone. Make sure my stone fits beautifully. When, you know, this is so nice and tight. Look at how beautiful and tight that is. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so that's probably the trickiest part. There we go. Okay, look at how beautiful. Now all I need is a backing on here. So it's coming in from the top, so I'm going to pop it up the top to make sure it fits. Okay, I've got my piece here. It looks nice and perfect. Put my screen down. This is where the screen is going to come in handy. And I'm going to put my screen where it's lifted a little bit. See how it's lifted here? Okay. All right, I need all the flux I can get. Actually, maybe I'll just dip both pieces in the flux. This one. This still has a little bit of oil on it, so I might have to get more flux on it once I heat it. Listen to these birds. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. Look at how gorgeous that join is right there. That's going to be perfect. Okay, so I'm going to heat this up a little bit, get it nice and dry. Okay, once I heat this up, I just want to make sure I have enough flux. There we go. See that? Because my solder flows wherever my flux goes. My solder flows. And a beautiful little saying. I'll heat it up one more time. I brought my cookie tray this time. Okay. All right. Now we're getting into the medium solder. I have some nice clean pieces in here. I'm going to dip it in the flux. Get some nice medium pieces. I just kind of I'll drop them in the middle and then spread them out. Now, I'm really careful about where, you know, just using a little bit of solder if I'm not putting anything around the rim, which I'm not today. I'm just going to keep things simple out here. But this is so much fun, just being here in this beautiful outside. Sometimes we think we have to be in our studios that are just long and laborious days, but being out in nature, you know, if it's not too windy, it's hard to get your flame going if it's too windy, but there we go. See how beautiful that sits around? If it's too windy, you really can't get, you know, get a good solder going. Okay. I'm just going to dry it off. There we go. And then what I want to do, you guys, is I'm going to first of all heat up my board, get under here. This is why the screens. And then I want to get under. I call it annealing soldering. I just want to get under here. I can do this whole solder joint by going under and annealing my piece. And then when it's all, you can see the red happening, so when it's almost done, I'm going to come up to the top and hit it. Oh, this is so nice out here to do. Okay, see how hot that is? And now I'm going to get in right there, go around my edges until I see that white flash that we love. There we go. See that white flash? Beautiful. My whole piece is down. Once your piece is down, there's no reason to keep it on. No reason. So now what, you know, I'm just going to do is I'm going to pick it up. I try not to pick it up by the filigree. You can see all the flux on there, but get on my magnifiers and I could look around and see if all areas are down. Pretty sure they are. Let me see what that is. Yep. Looks good. So I'm going to quench it again in my flux because that takes out a lot of the fire scale, a lot of the, it's all flux on here. Nice. I'm just going to cut around this piece and then pickle it. I could probably set a wire around the side. I brought some wire. Let me get out my material. Oh, you know what might be really fun, you guys? I'm going to try something different. Here's my bag of materials. I did make some wire for this. I did make some wire, so I've got some wire to go around the sides. I'm going to give myself a nice snip right here. My board is hot now, so my pieces are going to be a little warmer. You know, and then I want to decide, what I usually like to do is just curve it around a little, just to make things easier, putting it down. Okay. Right there. This is just working fun out here today, you guys. I'm not doing close-ups. I'm not doing exact. I'm just showing a little project here, which I think is fun. At least for me. See that? I have the marker. I have the marker already marked on here. But I'll put a little bit more on so I don't lose my spot. Sometimes it's put together so beautifully. It should be put together so beautifully that you can't tell where the marker is or not. And I do know that that's hard solder there because I put it there earlier. So voila. Voila. It's actually kind of windy and I'm still doing fine here. I'm still doing absolutely fine here. I just need the tiniest piece of solder for this one. Oh, there we go. It's harder for me to see it a little bit, but it's still worth being out here. Okay. For this, I don't want it to buckle, so I'm going to heat up my whole piece. I think it's together. Yep. This should take it, there we go. Take a lot of the fire scale. Now I could pickle this if I want, but I want to get back in. I want to make sure it's cooled off before I pick it up. It's all right if it's a little fumbly. Ooh, look at what a pretty fit that is, guys. Beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful piece. I'm just going to use the solder from the inside. And it's not actually, I can still get in here and solder this. It's not dirty. See the turquoise color on my bezel? That means that it's coated with flux. So even though it looks dirty, it's actually in really good shape. So I'm going to have to get in and just anneal everything again. Put more flux everywhere. It should be able to, the solder from the inside of my piece, I can use to bring around the outside. So I should be fine. I just put on a lot of flux. Then it's going to have to pickle for a while. You can see it getting nice and red. When you see all this cloudiness disappear, we're in good shape. And I really want to work on top of this a little bit with this torch. You guys can see the flame pretty good with this. We're coming over. There we go. You can see it coming out. So now I just need my heat to bring this out to the edge. See my solder flowing? Push it down a little here. There we go. Push it down a little here. It has to be touching the ground for this to work well. Voila. Ready? Now I'm going to quench it. Okay. This is what's cooling everything off for me now. So see, we've got this nice, beautifully put onto here. I'm going to cut this off of here, and then I am going to pickle it. My pickle is nice, almost dissolved. Almost dissolved. See that? Get that dissolved. Get this cut. And then I'll get to put an end on here. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful with the water. How relaxing. You could use a jeweler's saw if you could, you know, if I wanted to, I can do this type of work out here, go back into my studio and get, use my jeweler's saw if I wanted to cut with my jeweler's saw. Sometimes it's essential, but this time it's really not. Here's a little bit of easy right here. And I'm just going to get in here right away and just melt some easy right onto here. Yep, my solder is flowing, blowing, let's say. There we go. Now this whole piece just has to get super hot. I've got it on the screen so it gets super hot. So 97% of my heat goes onto this, onto my bezel. And when I see that heating up, then I can put this piece on. I'm going to get it right here in the red. Yep. Up. I didn't bring my T-pins with. There we go. See that? With easy solder, you have to hold it for a minute for it to take. And voila! This whole piece is ready for the pickle. Let me quench it first in the flux. The whole piece is done so beautifully. This is all ready to go in the pickle. I'll get it all straightened out, and you're going to see this stone is going to fit so perfect in here. So my next step is pickle, and then it's wire brush. Voila. I have this piece coming out of the pickle. This is the piece that I put in here that the turquoise fits in. I'm going to actually take my brush, and I'm going to go down to the water and get this scrubbed. Where do I have my brush? Right here. I'm going to go down to the ocean, get this in the water, get it quenched, get this quenched off, cleaned with water, and then I'm just going to go down to the ocean, which has that little bit of salt in it, and I'm just going to scrub on this a little bit. So that is what I'm doing now. Okay, I just actually brought this into the ocean because I have a little bit more polishing to do, and I'm just going to do some work this way. But you can see how well this cleaned up. It looks beautiful. And I'm just going to use this. It really cleaned off anything extra. And I have to tell you guys something. It's interesting. So this one is my stone. Here's where my stone is going to fit. I should put a piece of wire under here, but you can see how beautiful this is going to fit and how nice it's going to look. I still have some filing to do to get my edges nice and smooth, but pretty much my piece is going to be done. I'll get to set it, but I might wait till I get back to my studio. let me get, I actually, do I have a string here? I could pop it in with a string, but I didn't have to cut out the back or put silver because it's not a gem, just nice and easy. And I wanted to say I actually might swim with this piece today because look at these two pieces here on my wrist, this piece here. I actually swam with these on me because I swim with my jewelry on in the ocean and my pieces got oxidized. Is that crazy or what? So it's like there's a little bit of like plant material that's getting oxidized. So I'm going to swim with this bezel a little bit. How about that for living in the wild, right? You guys get to see this a little bit later. All right. Well, thanks for joining me.